I'm going to start here with one of my favorite hooks. This is the TMC 105 in a size 10. I pretty much tie all of my steelhead nymphs and eggs on this hook because it's a very, very strong hook and it has a wide gape. So for this pattern, you can see I'm starting with my hook shank angling down. I know normally people like to have the hook shank straight for using the rotary vise, but we don't need the rotary function for this for very much. So we can angle this down so that we can work slightly around the bend of the hook. I'm using some bright orange thread. You can use whatever brand of thread you prefer. You want a fairly sturdy thread because you're going to put a little bit of pressure on this. Go slightly past the bend. Come off your excess. Then you need some yarn. I got this stuff at the craft store. This is sort of a peachy pink color. So now what I'm going to do before I put my yarn on there, I'm going to put a tiny dab of glue here. So put that on there, make a kind of a loose wrap to sort of capture it on top. And that glue will hold that down good. So I don't need a ton of thread wraps if the glue is doing the job. So now I'm going to wind back just, a little ways here from the tie-in, the furthest tie-in point. So now here's part of the trick. This is made of 3 strands twisted around each other. We're going to untwist them. If you loosen up, you can see how untwisted you are. I'm pulling tight. Loosen up, I go, okay, there, I've kind of reached my max, and then I can grab somewhere here in the middle, pull these apart. So you can see I got 3 strands. I just need to make sure that they're laying flat next to each other. Pick the one that seems like it's in the middle and the one that seems like it's on the one side and the other. Get them all straightened out so it's kind of a flat presentation of 3. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my bodkin to create the loop size. So I pull up these 3 threads, put the bodkin in here, pull this back over, and see I can control it. Do I want a great big loop? Do I want a little tiny loop? What size loop do I want? I'm going to start with a loop about that size, right there. Pull the bodkin out, make a loose wrap so you don't pull it around, and then tighten it up. 3 wraps is sufficient. You probably can get away with 2. Then I'm going to put some thread in front of it by just a little bit. Do the same thing again. This loop I'm going to make slightly larger. I know that actual sucker eggs are kind of a golden yellow color, about the color of crappie eggs, and maybe a little bit larger though. However, most of the year when you're fishing for steelhead, you're not fishing during the sucker spawn time, so it really kind of just imitates. Use a color that imitates what steelhead want to eat. You can use the golden yellow color, that works great. But you can also use one of these peachy colors, which is well known to be a very good steelhead producer. So I'm on my 4th loop. I'll go a little bit higher on that one. 3. And then on my 5th loop, I'm going to go a little bit smaller. One, 2, 3. Then I'm going to lift these up, and with the remaining hook shank, I'm going to tie off. Okay, clip off the extra, and then I'm going to get rid of this extra here. Get down there as close as you can. If you leave a little bit sticking out, it doesn't matter. So then I'm going to straighten all that out, pull it down, right? Maybe some of it walked around a little bit. We want it mostly pointing straight up because we don't want to interfere with the hook gate. Now, because we're talking about steelhead and their toothy critters, I add some glue to these threads. Start up here by where I tied it in last and then drag that glue improve the overall integrity of the fly, make it last more than a couple of fish. Then you can fluff it up. And if you look at that, you can see those look like small eggs. They look more like the sucker spawn size egg rather than a steelhead size egg. This is a very productive fly, and that's a very easy way to tie it. I tied it very slowly so that you could see what I'm doing, but you can whip one of these out in a minute. All right, thanks for watching.